Read between the lines. Take a listen.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat.
If some of these folks were around when Columbus set sail, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
There are still a few who insist that climate change is one big hoax, even a political conspiracy.
Listen, there has never been a conspiracy in this country.
My friends, these people are so out of touch with science that they believe rising sea levels don't matter because in their view the extra water is just going to spill out over the sides of a flat Earth. They're wrong, obviously. For the benefit of those who may still question the 97% of peer-reviewed studies on climate change, let me just underscore, you don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round, that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and that gravity is the reason that objects fall to the ground.
This is called gravity.
What is gravity?
I have no idea. Okay, next question.
Wow.
No, here's the difference. We can describe gravity. Okay. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it. But when you start asking, like, what it is, I don't know.
On numerous occasions, NASA admits that we can't go beyond low Earth orbit, which is between 99 miles and 1,200 miles away. The interesting thing is that the moon is said to be 238,000 miles away, which is a difference of 236,800 miles.
Really? Are we actually supposed to believe that NASA, whose most famous achievement is putting men on the moon, actually admitted we've never been above low Earth orbit? No, of course not. In another video, ODD TV shows us some short clips to support this claim, such as these.
And it will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And
as we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
These clips are cherry-picked and obviously taken out of context. When they say we can't go beyond Earth orbit, they simply mean that, at the time, we had no currently active spacecraft programs designed to do that. The space shuttle, and the International Space Station have been the primary space programs of the last few decades since Apollo, and were designed to put men and payloads into orbit, not into deep space. But the new Orion program currently in development is designed to take astronauts to the moon, asteroids, Mars, and possibly beyond. Official NASA videos about Orion make it very clear that we have sent humans beyond Earth orbit before, just not since Apollo.
America has a new spacecraft. Its name is Orion. It will take us beyond Earth orbit for the first time in a generation.
The unpiloted first flight of the SLS will pave the way for future missions with astronauts traveling beyond low Earth orbit for the first time since the Apollo era.
And the dishonesty gets even worse. This is another of the clips he used.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
But he intentionally left out the very next sentence.
This next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit for the first time in more than 40 years.
Wow, what does it say about your claims if you have to lie like this?
Today's announcement sends a clear signal to the world that we are restoring America's proud legacy of leadership in space. At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space? Our journey into space will not only make us stronger and more prosperous, but will unite us behind grand ambitions and bring us all closer together. Wouldn't that be nice? Can you believe that space is going to do that? I thought politics would do that. Well, we'll have to rely on space instead. I thought politics would do that. Well, we'll have to rely on space instead.
Si te gustó este video, no te olvides de darle pulgar arriba, comentar si te gustó el video y suscribirse para poder seguir compartiendo más videos de New Top con ustedes. Mucha suerte y hasta la próxima.